Hello everyone, George here, and we're back in my implementation of FNAF. We're looking at our reference material again. In the last video, we finished creating the bucket. Now we need to create the mop and the broom. Hopefully we can do both of them pretty quickly and get them all done so we can jump on to the other assets. So let's go ahead and think about this. So with a mop, looks like it's one of those old school mops, you know, just the kind with the head, basically, that's kind of turns into a bunch of strands of cloth or rope. So let's do mop, take a quick look. That's definitely not the kind of mop I want. I want something that looks more like this. So we just have the shaft, the top, and then these coarse hairs or thick hairs that come out the top of it. So let's try to figure out how we want to do this and make it work. There's also this variation with a larger top portion. I think I'm going to go more with this because it looks more in line with our reference material. Okay, so mop it is. And do we make a texture do all this work, or do we do the work ourselves? That's the question. I think we're going to make the texture do all of this work. So let's first start off by creating a sphere for the top, frame on up, go to the sphere, go to, I don't know, something like 6 by 6. 6 isn't quite what I want. Let's try 8. No, I'm not liking that either. Let's go with 10. 10 gives me those sides. What about 12? What's 12 give me? 10 is probably a bit much in our case, but we'll go with it. Right click face mode, grab these, delete the bottoms. Edge mode, take them and extrude, and do world mode, bring that on out and down. Great, now we're just going to scale this whole thing down so it's actually something that's the right size for us. Frame on up, and okay, so that's the top of our broom or our mop. It's going to be the same for both, so I am going to just duplicate that, move it off to the side regardless. It will be the same. Let's see, mesh tools, mesh display. Let's do soft edge for the moment, and this is going to need to be a lot longer. I'm getting double transforms again. Why am I getting that? Better. Okay, F8, and continue to scale down, frame on up. Now we need the bottom bit that's going to go on the end. Let's just create a cube, scale this in and over this way and down. When in doubt, just throw a cube in there and stick it on the end of something. And something like this maybe. Why not? And face, grab the bottom, move this up, hit X key right there, right click, rotate edge. Let's do a bevel edge on this, and number of segments we're going to increase, and we'll keep it like that, I suppose. Grab the top elements, move these inwards, so scale them on in, is what I'm thinking. Let's do a bevel on this top if we can. Frame up, zoom out ever so slightly. The bevel should have been done before and not after, now that I'm thinking about it, but oh well. We are what we are. So let's go with it. So there's our bevel right there. Great. Now this part is going to insert into the head of the mop or all the rest of it. Let's move this up a bit. Something like that. Now the mop fibers are going to come out of this element here. And once again, do I want to do this all with the texture and just a normal surface, or do I actually want to create something? And for right now, let's do this the cheap way. We're going to duplicate this object itself. We're going to cut off the top. And there we are. Let's grab all of this. Let's cap it for now. So fill hole. And let's F8 and scale it up. Not that much, probably. Something closer to this is probably good. Maybe in a little bit more. There we are. Verts, grab the ones on top, scale them in, up, V snap to the center part of that. And now let's grab all of these ones and move them down. And outwards, and actually let's do this and then face mode, extrude, and down from there and out, and F8 the whole thing. And I am going to scale probably inwards a bit on that portion, and then scale outwards a bit on that portion. F8, save, and yeah, so I'm trying to think, if I'm looking at this from the top, it's still, let's scale, I want to make this rounder. We'll make the texture do the work. Let's insert edge loops to make this a little bit better. So insert edge loop tool, we're going to do one on this side, this side, this side, and this side. And go to edge, U, 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 and U. And let's soft select this maybe? So scale mode and open there. Let's put this up here so I can actually see things. And soft select mode, why not? Way too much, so it's way down. So 0.01, 0.1, out and out, just to round things out a bit. That's all I'm trying to do right now. And since this is going to be inserted inside of the bucket, I'm not really worried a whole lot about how things turn out. I'm going to round that, bevel this, actually. Let's do that. Let's do another segment and decrease the fraction a bit. Okay, save B. It's going to all come together at the bottom, and like I said, the texture is going to do 99% of this. So let's grab all these different elements, grab them, and fuse them together, and let the texture do the talking. Move this over to here, and stick it in this pot. Look at it from the top, frame on up, snap it in there, look at it again from over here. Let's go to V, D, and V to the bottom and up, and snap to the bottom of this thing, which is somewhere right there. And sure, why not? Go to edge mode, grab, let's see, can I grab all of the edges? No. Can I grab all the faces? And convert that over to 2 edge ring. 2 edge ring, no. I grab you and then 2 edges, and 2 contained edges, no. 2 edges to perimeter, and then just undo all of that. Now I just have the bottom, and now I can begin manipulating this bit a little bit, right here. Okay, that's fine. And that's what you'll end up seeing from there, which maps very well to our reference material. It just looks like there wasn't a texture actually put on that mop, which would look a little bit better. Let's jump over to the broom now. The broom is going to be pretty much the same thing. I had copied this over, but now in hindsight, I'm probably just going to take this now, frame up on it, duplicate it, move it over, and modify it to become the broom. So the broom's going to have that metal part on the top, similar to what we have over here, but it's going to be a little bit wider and more narrow, I think. Whereas the mop was more round. This one's going to be narrow. Whoops. So let's grab all of you. I'm grabbing, unfortunately, something I probably shouldn't be. So let's grab the whole thing, uncombine them, decombine them, whatever you want to. And let's also change the thickness of this. The whole thing needs to be thinned out, I think, to make it a little bit different. Good. And that's the top bit, so we're going to widen it this way and thin it out this way. And I am probably going to continue to shrink this one down. And I'm going to take this guy and thin it out as well, and thicken it out going this way. Let's change how these rings work and move them up and outwards. So this part here will end up being a secondary spot that confines the broom. I don't know what you call those, but the bits of hair or whatever that are the broom. It's going to, did I set world mode? There we go. Yeah, let's go to world mode actually. Let's scale outwards in this direction and outwards in that direction as well. Perfect. Okay. I can do that. So that's going to bind this part together. Although, really, I'm thinking here, let's make this a little bit flatter. I can understand some. Okay, you need to come over here, and you're going to come in a little bit. And this whole thing is also going to come in ever so slightly. You as well. And you as well. Okay, so now we've got a broom with the pieces. I almost feel like I need something going on here. This doesn't look right to me. It doesn't behave properly. So let's grab this whole bit and move it up. So they're coming out from here where they're really condensed and bound up. That's not working. Let's go to face mode. Can I grab just whatever the heck is up here? So they're all bunched up inside of this thing. They're coming outwards. And then they're getting confined even further into this thing through this clamping portion right here. But I really want to bring this down, I think. So let's grab it. And sort of push that out and over. And I want to do the same thing for this. I still feel like there's not enough distance going downwards. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and insert an edge loop somewhere in here and push this down maybe and out and give it a flare. Maybe out a bit like that. F8. Really, the whole bottom of this broom is pretty thick. So I'm going to just push it all in a bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with this top. Okay, and I'll let the texture do most of the work. Again, grab all that, combine it together, and then we have our broom and we have our mop together forever. Placement, of course, let's move this somewhere over here. You know, I'm going to not worry about placement just yet. We'll get to placement later on. I want to keep them pretty much straight on with my world axes so it's easier to manipulate when I'm dealing with things. Next up, the light that's got to come dangling down from the ceiling. So let's get on that. Taking a look at our reference material real quick again, we've got a series of beads coming down to the actual light. The light itself doesn't have a ton of detail. Let's just see if we can't find a light, what is it, outlet? Is that what it'll be called? Not outlet, light socket. Okay, so cylinder with a couple maybe extrusions to give it some life and not much else. So the beads, let's start with a sphere, frame on up, really low poly for this because there's going to be quite a few if we want to continue with that, if we want to go with it. I'm going to go with it just because I feel like that's very close-up detail that needs to be there. So let's do, I don't know, 6 and 8 maybe. 6 is way too low, 8 and 8. That's going to be a lot of polys on its own, isn't it? So let's go to surfaces and mesh display, soft edge, ugh. This is one of those times where you say to yourself, do we normal map this and ignore what's going on here? Or do we actually try to make it? Or do we make it and then consider normal mapping it later on? We're going to do that, I think. We're going to make it and then consider normal mapping it later on. So we need the beads to line up. Let's Control D this object. Move it up. Let's see, D and V it to the bottom, I suppose, right there. And then V it to the top of this thing, if I can. Frame up, please. V to U. Not quite. Up a little bit. V to there. We're just going to go with it like that. And that way I can do Control D and then V to the top and then Shift D a bunch of times. And we can see my poly count go through the roof, which is not fun. Let's grab all of these, bunch of them, and just combine them together. Control D and move these up a little bit higher, and W, where is it? DV to the bottom, and then move this to the top. Grab both and fuse them together. Edit, delete all by type, history, great. Now let's create the light itself. So cylinder mode, and move them on down, frame on up, scale on down. This is pretty wide in comparison to the rest, so let's do something like that. Frame on up, D to the top, V, and to the bottom of that thing as well. And now we just get to do some freeform stuff, so let's just do some segments here, fraction it down a bit. F8, let's see, reference material, it inserts into a portion of it and then goes somewhere else, so why don't we just do something like that? So let's go insert edge loop tool somewhere like right there. Face mode, grab all these, extrude faces, let's just pull them out. Let's see, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want all of you only. Now we're going to do an extrusion. Now my z-axis is proper. We're going to pull this outwards and do another bevel on that. Why not? Do something like that. It's good. Face mode, go in here, grab all of them, pull them down, and probably insert another edge loop somewhere. Let's go to relative mode, somewhere here and there maybe. Face mode, grab all of this nonsense, extrude it out as well. There we are. And once we've done that, edge, edge, and bevel edge, segments 2, 3, and fraction down. Okay, there we are. That's our top bit, and there's screw bit right here. That'll get screwed into the actual light bulb. Let's grab all the verts there, move them down a bit, so that we can have something that works with the light bulb. Looking at our, just look at a light bulb itself. Light bulb. Okay, that's what we got to deal with, so putting that off to the side, let's make it happen. So this is probably all going to be one texture. You're probably not going to see much of this stuff. So let's grab all of you, scale you up, go in here, grab you, grow, shrink, G to shrink again, and do an extrusion, bring this down. This is going to be the part that's silver, and then we're going to do another extrusion as well. Bring this out a bit and scale it out, something like that. This is where it starts to flare. G a key down, and then that's the bottom of the light bulb. G key again. Bring this out and flare it out. You could use NURBS if you want to, or curves, whatever you want to. I'm just going to use polys really quick because it's going to be quick and easy. I'm going to hit the I am going to actually do something a little bit different. We're going to go to vertex mode, grab this, move it up to there. I'm going to push this out to there. Then I'm going to go and do a sphere, and we're going to cut the bottom half of the sphere off. How many sides do I have? I think I kept the 20, right? Something like that. One, it looks like I did. It's a lot of polys. So let's keep with the 20 for the lower half of this. Come to the top, frame up, delete the top half, F8, W, and V to the top, scale down. Looks good. Okay, grab both, grab this one, move it down, grab this one, right click, face mode, grab all that, nuke it, grab you, F8, grab you and you. Let's fuse you to edge mode, why not? Can we bridge this and will it work? Yes, it worked, yay. Let's now grab edge, this one, move it on up somewhere there, and then do a bevel, and then increase the number of segments. And just tweak. However we want. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. This, we're going to move down. And this needs to be straighter. Okay, good enough. That might end up getting cut off and made transparent or something. I don't know yet. We're going to have to play with it and see what I like in the future. Okay, F8, save. So there we go. We've got all this stuff. I'm actually going to probably, let's see, let's do W, D, and V snap this down there, and let's do a scale from there. I'm going to make them longer and thicker so I don't have nearly as many. I'm going to grab all of this together and fuse it and do edit, delete all by type, history. Let's grab it and move it into our main room. And the positioning of this element is really going to be based upon a lot on the camera and where it's at. Although we kind of need to properly set this up because we're doing this in the Vive, and at the moment we don't have our head restricted. You do have full reign to look around the room, which is going to cause us some problems with things like this light, because the reference material has this light in a very specific spot, illuminating everything right here. Whereas if you turn it around or do other things, it's going to impact how you view the environment and what you're looking at. So you got to think about that. Because there is a ceiling, this is going to need a top cap probably to be inserted on, and I haven't thought about that. So let's create that. Move this. This is way too big for a light, especially in here. So scaling that, continue to scale that down. That's better. Let's make this cap for the ceiling, whatever it might end up being, and frame on up, scale, and move that down. Move it somewhere that I can work with. Still too big. Scale you down, and I'm working in way too big a coordinate system. Let's do V right up there. That's not correct. So let's do, where is it? Let's not move. Let's move in transparency mode and up to the top. That's good. Perfect. Okay. Frame up. That's going to be our plate. Turn off X-ray mode. What? We need something that probably goes inwards. So let's do an insert edge loop tool somewhere there. Yeah, right there. Why not? Edge, take this edge, scale it on in, grab the face mode of this thing, grab all of these, probably not the back sides though, and extrude this outwards and down. And let's bevel that. 2, 3. Reduce the fraction just a bit. Do the same thing here as well. 2, 3. And keep it kind of high. W, DV. And move this, let's see, D and V to the, whoops, V to the top of there. And that's our light. Face mode, grab all of this junk, delete it, fade twice, save. And obviously that's not a whole lot of distance for that light. Where's the ceiling? Display, show, all. Yeah. So we're going to need to think a little bit about how we do this. I'm going to combine all that together for the moment. D and V that to the top and V that up there. But for right now it's all right because if our camera's way up here, looking down, there's no way we're going to get everything in a shot. But do we need to? That's another thing we got to think about. I mean, really? Not having everything in the shot means we're going to be forcing the user to use the Vive as it's expected to be used, which is to look all around the area. And it might be a good idea to enforce that by not just sticking everything in the shot as we have here, but instead forcing the user to look around and see the different elements that they're familiar with. Anyway, this video is starting to get a little bit long. I am going to probably jump into creating the bottles in the next video and finishing up this stuff. Then we got to texture all this crap, and then we can move on to bring it into our scene. So once again, if you liked the video, give me a like. If you dislike, please not only dislike, but also give me a comment on why you didn't like it. And of course, always remember, if you want more content like this in the future, remember to subscribe. Have a great day, morning, evening, or night, or whatever it is you are in your part of the world. I'll see you all next time. So long. Goodbye.